The lights look great, man.
Hold on, let's, I forgot I'm in shorts. This video is all about the journey that I took, why I took that journey, what I was told to take in life, the path I was supposed to take in life. It's really like the hero's journey in some way, the monomyth. There's some kind of inciting incident that causes someone to do something and they go through this whole thing and then they arrive back where they started, but the journey's completed. Growing up, everyone is always instilled with this American dream. Well, if you're from America, you get good grades, you go to college, you get that job, you buy a home, you get married. It's interesting because that is also a very old way of thinking too. Because now, in this day and age, we have more opportunities than we ever had before. And I think a lot of people are realizing that maybe this path that we were told that we were supposed to follow, that doesn't work for everyone. It's a very cookie cutter timeline that someone's supposed to live their life with. And I think as people go on, they discover more about themselves. And this is also why teenagers can't tell you what they want to do with their life when they're done with high school. Like, no matter how many times people are like, you got to figure it out, you got to figure out what you want to do. Like, it's an impossible question to answer. Because they haven't experienced life yet. They haven't gone out and failed or discovered the things that they're really passionate about. So this formula that we're given does not apply to everyone. And I realized almost all the way through the journey of this formula that it really wasn't for me.
Aw, I didn't make a mess. Boop.
So when I was younger, in high school, that's when YouTube first came out. And I didn't know I would be interested in doing video at the time. But at that time, people were uploading pretty funny videos online, and YouTube was kind of the buzz around school, like, oh, there's this new video platform. So me and my friends got a family camera, and we started filming just the stupidest of stuff. But it was so fun. We would meet up every Friday night, and we would film a video. None of us had any video ability at all. And we were just going off of what we saw online and making little skits of what was popular at the time. And that's really how all it started. And then obviously as high school ended, people went their separate ways. But then I actually wanted to continue it. I went to college for video, and it's weird because it seemed right, but even at the time I wasn't focused on diving into it for YouTube. I was just like every other kid out there. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my future. I didn't know I was good at writing until someone really sat me down at college and said, like, you are a really good writer. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not a good writer at all. But one of my teachers actually sat me down and he's like, dude, this is a really good story that you wrote. In my head, I'm thinking, I wrote this last night at like 12 a.m. I turned it out really fast. I was a procrastinator in college, but it took people telling me that I was good at writing to actually, I was like, maybe I am good at writing. Maybe the reason why I'm good at writing, or I consider myself good at writing, is because I exist all up in here all the time. I'm always thinking, I'm always, playing out scenarios in my head, and I'm an introvert by nature, so like I'm very withdrawn in terms of how I think and how I project things. So writing makes sense for me. And regardless of what I'm doing, I can tell a story through video on YouTube, through an actual book, through a game. So storytelling, I think, is at the core of it, is really what I like to do. I like to share those stories with the world, and hopefully they resonate with people. This idea of going to college and then working in a job for the rest of your life, I'm a creative person, and if I'm not being creative at my job, or if I'm being stifled at my job, it really drains me emotionally and mentally. And my job was not bad by any means. I was really lucky to have it. But I just was in my head all day. I was thinking about all these cool things that I wanted to be doing, or like all these cool game worlds or stories I should be writing, or and through that I learned, like, what would happen if my passion was directly aligned with what I love doing, And that became, what I sought after in life. And it was scary to think about because you're basically saying, I've been living my life this entire way and now I'm going to completely deviate from it. And when you do that, everything's brand new because you don't have this path in front of you that you were told that you should be following. You become a cartographer, you're the one drawing the map and the directions. It basically empowers you to figure out at your core who you are and forces you to chase after your dreams in some capacity. And that's what I had. I had these fleeting thoughts of what I wanted to do, and it's like, those are the things you shoot for. At the top of all your goals and things you might want to do in your life, these are at the top. These are pinned to the top, and no matter what happens, I'm always going to be walking towards these, regardless of how big of steps I'm taking or if I'm paused for a certain period of time. As long as I continue down this path, it feels right. And as long as it feels right for me, then it's definitely worth going after. So I actually attempted to do YouTube many times in the past, and this is actually my third attempt. When I first started off, we were actually doing more skits, and I actually wanted to do more comedy-focused videos. Life took everyone in different directions. We were younger, we were sort of figuring out what we wanted to do with our lives. And that's what led to these channels failing. While we had a solid block of time where we're in high school ends, everyone goes somewhere else. While we're in college, people move after college when they get jobs. So those were always factors that caused these channels to fail. And even SwankyBox, when I first started it failed because I was doing skits. I wanted to do, funny things and things of that nature, but it required me to have a bunch of people to do, but also required me to film after work hours, which not everyone was cool with. So I started the channel and then it went silent for 2 years. I was always fascinated by online video, but I never thought of it as a career path, so to speak, until I was probably a couple years into my first job after college. For the longest time, it didn't offer any sort of financial stability or even a future for content creators. You just put stuff up there because you like to make stuff, and that's totally cool. And it wasn't until a couple years after my first job after college when I started paying more attention to it. I was heavily inspired by Devin Supertramp and some other people, but seeing him turn his passion actually into a career path re-inspired me and also kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit because I'm like, I gotta do this now. Because if I don't do this now, I'm always gonna regret it. So that kind of has a role in my channel as well. Obviously, I'm a huge mystery buff. I love diving into the unknown, especially in real life, but also in games. I think there's a lot of cool combination of all the footage I've ever shot, plus all my gaming footage, and I really like to keep everything because you never know when you're going to need it again. I know a lot of people delete stuff, but I have tons of footage from all around the United States. It comes in handy for a lot of videos and stuff like that. So I left my job and I dove headfirst into YouTube, and it was super scary because there's so many uncertainties. Those uncertainties kept me from doing it for so long, but the thing is, people don't know how sweet the jump is after you land. They're so scared, they get to the edge to make the plunge and then they don't ever do it. And while the jump is scary, there's such freedom after it. You shout out to the universe and no one responds because you're such a small little thing on YouTube. So for the longest time, I struggled, and I kept thinking of when people watch videos, how do they feel? And at their core, what will resonate with them? Like, what things do they find interesting? And I started applying that to my topics, which was now gaming, and started to educate people through that. And eventually it caught on. So as long as you stay true to yourself and you keep making the stuff that you're passionate about, and you're not being fake and you're speaking from the heart, eventually, it will build up. You will have your breakthrough. I'm not sure how it will happen. It will happen in the craziest way, and you won't actually see it happen, but after a while, it will happen. Just have a silhouette of Stallone punching the speed bag.
Yeah, it's in slow mo. I just want you slow motion, just punching a piece of meat. Just like, yeah.